Is Malone Dies a philosophical text? An essay for a non-definitive answer. We often pose the question too rigidly. Is philosophy a genre? A system of theses? What if the real entry point was instead an interrogation of practices of thought and styles of putting meaning into crisis? Let's explore a limit case. Samuel Beckett's Malone Dies. 1. Philosophy as an exercise in dying. Since Socrates, philosophy has often been defined as the learning of how to die. If philosophizing is learning how to die, then Malone Dies belongs by right to this tradition. But in Beckett, this death is not a simple biological end. It is a total dissolution. Dissolution of the subject. The one who carries the stories fades away. Dissolution of the object. What is being told unravels. It is the limit experience of the death of the narrative. To philosophize here is no longer to prepare one's soul, but to observe the collapse of the structures that allow us to say, I, or to speak the world. 2. The idea of family resemblance, Wittgenstein. To understand how Beckett does philosophy without writing treatises, we must summon Ludwig Wittgenstein. His concept of family resemblance teaches us that a concept does not have a single essence, but partial resemblances. Philosophy is not a monolithic block, but a constellation of gestures, problematizing, delimiting, criticizing. Beckett belongs to this family not through his theses, but through his gesture, the experimentation with the conditions of possibility of meaning at the moment it is extinguished. 3. From construction to disintegration. Let's compare practices. In Spinoza, thought is constructive. The structure of reality is deduced with geometric rigor. In Kant, it is critical. The limits of knowledge are determined. Beckett, however, offers a phenomenology of disintegration. In Malone Dies, stories correct themselves, fragment, and cancel each other out. If philosophy consists of transforming the frameworks of the thinkable, Beckett shows us what happens when the frameworks themselves become unstable and collapse. 4. Philosophy, science, and art, a necessary porosity. We often try to separate these domains. Yet, from Plato to Descartes or Leibniz, the boundary has always been porous. Philosophy is neither a catalog of theses nor a single method, but a tension between question and answer. Beckett occupies a decisive position. He maintains the question but makes the stabilization of the answer impossible. This is not a philosophy of nonsense, but an exploration of what survives when meaning no longer manages to fix itself. Conclusion. Beckett as an essential philosopher. Malone Dies is a philosophical text if we accept that philosophy can cease to be a construction to become an experience of its own limits. Beckett does not produce theses. He tests what it still means to think, to speak, and to tell in the imminence of the end. In this fragile space, philosophy does not disappear. It becomes the pure trial of its own impossibility. The debate is open. If philosophizing is learning how to die, is literature the only place capable of staging the death of the narrative? Can we think of a subjectivity that completely fades away? Share your thoughts in the comments. Find the full analysis in my essays on La Diagonale des Savoirs, Substack.